This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving Southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati.
Well, come along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Coyle and Larry. Thanks a lot for joining us. Coming to you live from the Graduate Hotel here in Bloomington today. Saying hello to Jennifer joining us. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? We got a lot of people in the audience. Appreciate everybody along with us. Great show on tap today, man. Of course, Matt Weaver is going to be with us from Peaks.com talking some IU football. But we got a bonus coming here as former IU coach and current BTN studio analyst Jerry DiNardo will join us, man. What do you think about that, Mr. Leary?
Yeah, that's a big day, man. I mean, I didn't know we were quite this big time, but that's a big time guest.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I ran into Coach back during the media days, the Big Ten media days, and what a time to get him on as Indiana set to take on the Michigan Wolverines this week in a huge game. No one knows better than Jerry DiNardo the difficulties that Tom Allen has gone through to make this program where he is right now. I mean, he's one of the guys that tried to do that, and it's just a difficult chore, obviously. But looking forward to talking to him on the program today. Lots to talk about. Dawson Garcia, it is decision day. Unfortunately, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's pretty well known that he's probably going to be going to Marquette and not Indiana. So we'll see for sure later on today how that goes. But all indications right now is that he is headed to Marquette. So we'll talk about that. Make sure you get your comments, question. Hit us up on the text line like always, 812-269-6367. That's 812-269-367. Hit Leary Todd up on Twitter, at Leary Todd. Or you can hit me up at Jim Coyle ISB, or whatever channel people normally use. You guys reach out to us in a lot of different ways. Heard from Barry yesterday, so we're grateful to hear from him. Hope everybody's having a great day. Lots to get to, man. And, of course, tonight on the hardwood, the Hoosiers, Todd, they take on Princeton in their fifth game of the season with 4 wins under the belt right now, just trying to get to that next win.
Yeah, no doubt. It's basketball-wise, it's it's another opportunity for them to get out there and get against some different bodies and play against a team that is going to have schemed against you and set some things up to take away. They've seen 4 games worth of tape now that what Indiana is kind of trending towards doing. And, you could tell in that last Troy ball game, they were trying to take away a lot of ball reversal and trying to take away those high ball screens. And Indiana did a pretty darn job of executing, even though they were that's what they were trying to take away. So, a lot of good things have happened so far, and this is just another test. I know there's a really good big guy on the inside for Princeton, so it'll be an opportunity for Indiana defensively to set up some schemes and set up some things and try to take that away from Princeton. So it's just another good opportunity. Obviously, it's a game. Indiana, fans expect to win. Fans are not overly excited about it based on the ones that we've talked to, but it's a good test for them right now, and it's getting them in the situation where hopefully they do in 2 weeks from now they'll be playing plenty of talent. So it's a great opportunity for them to come out and do something a little bit different this week.
And you talk about tests. We've talked about this a lot. These early season games, it doesn't matter who it's against, man. Sometimes you're going to play a Ken Palm 250 team and you're going to win by 25. And sometimes you're going to win by the scrape of your neck of your life there, like Virginia did last night as they took on Vermont. They ended up winning that game 61-55. That game was tied with, I think, 4 or 5 minutes to go. So you're looking at the defending national champion there, having all they wanted from Vermont.
Right.
So it doesn't matter who you are or who you play. You better come to play, especially in college basketball. And we've seen it in the tournaments so much the last couple of years. The parity that's what makes the tournament so much fun. But now that's starting at the beginning of the season and carrying through. It used to be you play these teams, you're beating them by 35, 40 points. But now they're coming ready, man.
Yeah.
They're not just want their paycheck. They want to win too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 25 years ago, there were probably, 5 or 6 mid-major teams that you would consider. I mean, Gonzaga, and you could name them on one hand. How many, really good mid-major teams there were. And about 10 years ago, there was probably about 20 good mid-major teams. And today, there's probably about 50. And some insanely quality, talent, coaches have gotten better. It's just all around basketball, college basketball in particular, has just improved so much. And a lot of that, I think, is credited to AAU, credited to how much these kids have played and, the level of AAU for a lot of it brings. But there's some positives to it, too. And the quality of basketball at the mid-major level, I think, has been the biggest beneficiary of AAU basketball. And you play these games, you can look at some games last night. I mean, it wasn't just Virginia. I mean, you look all week, and in the last week, there's been Duke had won some games by 10 points at home against were heard of. Heck, Northwestern lost to Merrimack and Radford in the last week. And it's in between who they beat in the Gavitt Challenge. They beat a Providence. They beat a good team. And in between all of that, in between losing 2 games to teams you barely heard of. So, just the parity and all of it. Mid-majors have kind of – now there's different level of mid-majors. Now you've got some teams that are up there that are the good mid-majors, and you've just got a whole bunch of guys or a whole bunch of teams that can beat you on any given night.
You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle O'Leary, coming to you live from the Graduate Hotel here in downtown Bloomington, Indiana. The Hoosiers set tonight to take on Princeton, the 5th game of the season for them at Scott Assembly Hall. That game will tip off at 7. You've got the post-game show after the game with Todd Leary immediately following. Don't forget that. You can find us on Facebook Live on Indiana Sports Beat Facebook page, or we farm it out to the other Facebook pages as well. But remember, if you're wanting to comment, ask questions, either hit us up on the same text line, 812-269-6367, or you must be on the Indiana Sports Beat Facebook page so we can see that comment in real time. But otherwise, we'll certainly get to those. We got a text into the show from Tim. Does Arch know something that we don't? He commented that he is not done with the 2020 class. Well, I think that's just wishful thinking.
I hope he knows something that we don't.
Yeah, I think that's just wishful thinking. Just kind of like a politician not conceding loss in an election, because all indications that I've heard is that this election is going the other way. So we'll find out, but I don't think so. Roger also texts in from Evansville. Vermont has a couple of players from Evansville, Harrison, the Duncan brothers. So there you go. That's another thing. Man, throughout the season, it doesn't matter what team you're talking about, looking at how many times there's a kid from Indiana on that daggone team. That never surprises me.
Vermont must have a tie to Indiana somehow, because they always have at least one, a lot of times a couple Indiana kids. I know who was the kid that played for IU that transferred in from Vermont just 2 years ago? His brother played at Duke. I can't think. He's from Carmel. From Carmel, went to Vermont.
Say it again, Jake.
How am I forgetting his name?
Zach Roberts?
Yeah. He went to Vermont when he first came out of school. That was his scholarship, and they recruit heavily in the state of Indiana. And so those Duncan brothers down there, they were very highly recruited, and Vermont does a good job at getting kids to come out there. They play a tough style of basketball. They're kind of like that old Princeton style of offense. So they're tough to play against, and getting Indiana kids to come in there and do that is it's ideal for them. But they've got to tie to Indiana somehow, because they always get Indiana kids.
Plus, your old roomie is up there somewhere in the clam chowder eating Northeast. Greg Graham.
Yeah,
Rhode Island, I think. Rhode Island?
Is he? I don't know. I thought he was in New Jersey, but it's hard to keep track of him. He goes back and forth. He left Warren Central kind of in a hurry. He was doing a great job there, and they loved him. And obviously, they've got Chris Byers. They have. They're not going to complain about what they have now, going undefeated. for a couple of years, but Greg was doing a terrific job over there at Warren Central, and just for family reasons, just picked up and moved. But according to my last couple conversations with him, I think he'll be back in Indiana before too long.
Yeah, he was on the show a few months ago, and he certainly indicated that he would like for that to be the case. But there's a lot of guys we talked to that want to come back to Indiana. AJ Moye, another one, he'd love to come back to Indiana. He was on the show. He talked about that. His wife is from Indianapolis. So, and then there's guys that live in Bloomington. I didn't realize that Matt Nover lived in Bloomington.
Yeah. He moved back here. Gosh, it's been 8 or 9 years ago. It's been a while. He's lived here for a while. After his wife is from Portugal, where he ended up playing for a long time, and he's got her back here and raising his son back here. So Matt's lived here for a long time. He just kind of stays to himself, so you don't see him a whole lot.
Right. I know Todd Lindemann, I think, lives here.
Yeah, I think he lives closer to like between Center Grove and here area. Yeah, I think he's a farm guy, so you can never find him. He's out in the sticks, shooting things and.
That blows my mind. Maybe the scariest thing would be to see some 7-foot dude with a shotgun coming out of the woods.
Yeah.
You're like, oh hell no!
No doubt about it.
No, thank you.
But that's him every weekend. He and his boys are out there. I see pictures of him shooting something every weekend. So that's their life. We don't see him at too many IU events because that's his time to be. When he's not working, he's out there shooting something.
It's deer season, man.
Yeah.
It's just like watching
whatever.
movie Hoosiers.
Who knows? How do you know? I know it's deer season because I just drove down 69. I see a bunch of them laying on the side of the road.
Speaking of
it's always
Hoosiers,
deer season.
Talking to a friend, a new dentist, Caracas, last night out where I live, and I found out his brother was in the movie Hoosiers. And you don't know the guy I'm talking about yet. You will, but you do. You will know who his brother was. He played the part to where they're over at Terhune. Remember that?
Yeah,
that cracker box of a gym.
Yeah, of course.
And because they were all playing like a bunch of gorillas, and he said, "Who's you calling gorillas?" And that was him. That's his dude's brother, man.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So way cool, but yeah.
Well, if you ever want to play with, what's the main character's name? Was the best shooter?
Oh, Jimmy Chitwood.
Yeah, you ever want to play with Jimmy Chitwood? Just go to the Monon every day at 11 o'clock. Jimmy Chitwood plays at the Monon in Indiana or in Carmel every day at 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. We need to do a show from there sometime.
We'll do it. He would love to do it. He's not real talkative. He's pretty quiet, but he's the nicest guy in the world.
What's his real name?
Maris. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah,
Maris.
It's like a foreign name of some kind. Yeah. But it's so funny.
I can't rember. I got him on my Facebook.
Yeah, but that's amazing that you can go there and find that.
Oh, you can play with him every day.
It's as cool as heck, man. But, man, what a great show we've got coming up today. Like I said, Todd Leary with us as always every day. But joining us today will be Coach Jerry DiNardo, former IU coach, current Big Ten Network football studio analyst. He's going to be joining us next, or not next, my God, in the next segment, 940 segment. Let's get that straight. The 940 segment. I thought he was going to be on next, but I got that confused. But anyway, we got to take a break regardless. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary. We're coming to you live today from the Graduate Hotel. We'll be back with more right after this.
That you're in love with me.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former IU basketball player Derek Elson. Follow the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
I was wrong, it took too long. I got caught in a rush hour. Fella started to shower you with love affection. Now look at my direction on the expressway to your heart. That expressway, that's the best way. That expressway to your heart.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Coyle and Leary, coming to you live from the Graduate Hotel on this Wednesday, November 20th.
Had to check the date.
Yeah, had to check the date.
It's funny when you don't write it down every day.
Hey, man, that's true.
It really is.
Back when I was in school, I knew the date every day because you had to write it every day. Every day you're writing the date. Every day you're writing the date. Been a minute since I wrote the date.
Yeah, I don't write it very much either. Thank goodness for these phones. We
Coming to
talked
you
about
live
how
from
awesome.
Bloomington.
Yeah, how about awesome this place
Here at the
is.
Graduate. Todd's still in love with this place.
I am.
It's amazing.
Except for all these
If you haven't
goofy.
been here, man, it's got a complete and total Indiana connection. The floor, when you first walk in, is a black and white checkered floor in homage to the New York Times. Who's that, Jude?
I'm not sure his name. But the guy that
Todd's killing
invented
it
the
on the name
crossword.
today.
Yeah, today is not my day for you. Think I do drugs. I don't do anything, but I just can't. Just getting old.
But, yeah, they've got bleachers, like old school bleachers. When you walk into the left, there's a common area for people to sit down.
Like
It's
the
just
ones
a
at the end of
cool
Assembly
place.
Hall. Yep.
And then one of the funny things is up on the room floors, they've got these silhouette pictures of a chair in a different position as you're going down the hallway.
Tumbling.
Where that chair
in
is
different
tumbling.
position.
You can make your own reference to where that comes from.
And
of
the
course-
room keys. Tell them about the room keys. Those are
The room keys are all ID'd to a character from the movie Hoosiers.
from the movie Hoosiers. Yeah,
and
that's
then when
awesome.
you first walk in, behind the desk, the main desk, is a team photo of the 1954 champion Milan. Or no, not Milan, the Hickory Huskers. It's not
Yeah,
Milan,
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
Hickory
right,
Huskers that's up there. But
Just a cool place. Cool place.
yeah, great place to be, having a nice classic cup of coffee here today, too. But Indiana taking on Michigan this week. Text in from Tim asking, any chance that Michigan overlooks Indiana? Great question, because they've
Did you see
got
that interview? Think about it.
Ohio State next week. No, what interview?
Yeah, the interview with Shea Patterson.
No, I didn't. I just saw the one where last second he says we got one more big
Yeah, we got one more big game, and we've got to go to Indiana, travel to Indiana, but really we just got one more big game.
Yeah, let's let them do that.
We got something for you.
Well, they have Ohio State next week, and their entire season is riding on that game in their mind because they have got number one. Jim Harbaugh has never beat Ohio State since he's been in Michigan, not one time.
He ain't going to beat him this year either.
So the onus is on him for that. Then their season is on the line. Not on the line. That's not right. But if
their season every year their season's on the line based on that game.
And it is, but it also because I'm trying to think have they lost to anyone in the Big Ten yet? Do they play Penn State yet already?
Yeah, they got beat by.
So they've got that one loss. So now they want to give Ohio State a loss and work into some kind of tie and still have a shot at the Big Ten championship, which I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No,
for sure.
But Michigan has played remarkably better. Offensively, since the Notre Dame game, they have found a rhythm, and that should give Indiana a little bit of pause because it's going to be the best offensive team they've played since Ohio State, without doubt. I mean, they should have beat, let's be honest, they should have beat Penn State by 2 touchdowns. They made too many mistakes, and they did not do the things that was in their power to do, like not make mistakes, not drop a touchdown pass, not run a horribly called fake punt. You take those things away, those key things right there. That is where the game was cost. So you gotta wash that, and they move forward. How do you wash a game like that, Todd? I mean, when you got another big game coming up, especially at home, you had a shot to do something you haven't done. You've done one time in 25 attempts, whatever it's been, to beat Penn State, and it was within their. Right, they could have taken care of that had they simply done the things they were supposed to do. They don't have to do anything great. They already did it, but they dropped a touchdown pass. They muff a punt. They call the bad fake punt deal. Those things are exactly what cost the game because after the fake punt, next play, they score. One play, bam. The muff punt, they score. There's 14 points. Drop touchdown, 21 points. That's a big swing right there. So how do you wash that and come back to yet another big game?
Well, I mean, you almost have to trick yourself, actually. But, I mean, you almost have to turn it into a positive and realize, hey, you know what? Those were mistakes. Like those were mistakes that can be corrected. It's not as if they were overpowered or, the offensive line pushed them back, 7 yards and they couldn't stop the run. It was those were mistakes that can be corrected. That's the positive. That's really how you have to go look at it. And, those you can't factor those into a game plan. You can't factor in, the snapper just making a mistake and snapped it to the wrong guy. I mean, you can't factor that stuff in. And so those are things that can be corrected. I mean, you heard Coach Allen afterwards, and he handled that in the post-game press conference really well and just saying, hey, you know what? Look, it's a mistake. Like a kid made a mistake, and he's done a great job for us all year, and he won't make that mistake again. And, gosh, I mean, as a player, you feel bad enough as it is already, and then you get your coach to kind of take your back and support you and in that scenario tell you you've done great all year, and it's kind of a positive reinforcement thing, even though you made a catastrophic mistake in the middle of a huge game. But there's three big plays that you can think of that are Indiana correctable mistakes. I mean, you can also add in the missed calls and some of those things. Indiana can't really worry about those. Those are going to happen in almost every game. But the three real big correctable mistakes and drop passes and muff punts and those stuff, like that stuff can be fixed, and they have to look at that as a positive. They have to take away from that and look at it as a positive.
And the actual question, will or can they overlook it? Yeah, they can. Will they? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that they got a big game with Ohio State coming up, and Indiana has not beaten anybody to give them pause. They've given them good games. They gave Penn State a good game, but they didn't beat them. And actually now that loss to Michigan State, to me, is now looking like a bad loss.
Yeah, it does look like a bad loss.
Back then it was like, oh, man, what could have been? Now it's like, hell, you really should have beat them because everybody else has.
Yeah, but Michigan State's just quit. I mean, they've crumbled since that IU game. They've kind of quit and crumbled. throughout the rest of the year. So I think if Indiana played them right now, they would win that game. But I mean, I don't think, in answer to Tim's question, I don't think they'll overlook Indiana because, looking at it on paper, Michigan versus Michigan State, you would think that's their rival. But we all know that Ohio State's really their rival. It's like Indiana and Purdue. Yes, it's a rivalry, but Indiana-Kentucky, Kentucky's more hated than Purdue by Indiana fans. And so that's kind of what that Michigan-Ohio State matchup is. And Michigan just last weekend played Michigan State and for sure didn't overlook them. They beat them 44-10, and it was never a game. And you just go back and look at what Michigan's been able to do. I mean, they've put up 44 points, 38 points, 45 points in their last 3 games. Like, their problem used to be scoring. Like, they used to win games 24-17 or 24-10, and that was a pretty good offensive output for them. And it's not right now. They're scoring points, and so
they beat Iowa 10-3.
Did they?
I think it was
10-3.
Yeah, low.
They've lost 2 games. They lost to Wisconsin and Penn State in the Big Ten already.
Oh, yeah. So they're pretty much done.
So they're done. I mean, their sole season is based on beating Ohio State. And you know what? I swear they'll forget all about losing to Penn State and Wisconsin if they're able to beat Ohio State. So I'd say there's an ounce of overlooking Indiana in there, but it's also. I'm pretty sure the coaching staff will have them geared up for this game because they know it's a big game for Indiana.
Tim texted in, a lot of come down and do a show of Bubba's 33. Hey, man, we love it.
I love Bubba's 30. I love me some Bubba's 33.
Amazing. Of course, I miss that spicy chicken. But bowl situation for Indiana. Was looking at some stuff yesterday. One of the bowls that I thought was out of reach, the Music City Bowl in Nashville, because of all these bowls have – conference ties.
Yeah, right.
And they got different rules. Well, you can't play every 3 years is the soonest you can play again, or this, that. But the Music City Bowl has a tie-in with the Gator Bowl that they actually can rotate all 3, which makes it Indiana is definitely not only a possibility, but the president of that bowl was I think it was the Star that Zach Osterman had a story in there about. They would love to have Indiana because they're the one using the common sense because of the proximity of Indiana. I-65 corridor that runs straight from Indianapolis right to Nashville.
Right.
And that would be a fun bowl. I'm not going to lie to you. I would rather go to Florida.
Just from a weather standpoint. Yeah. If you could promise me that it was going to be 75 in Nashville, I'd rather go to Nashville.
Closer, it's easy to get to all that.
And it's a great fun city.
Yeah. Even at the worst case, I think it would be fun. But I'd rather be under the palm.
Yeah. But we've already got our bikinis picked out. Like, we're all set to go down to Florida.
I haven't decided on which color yet. But there's still possibilities to go to the Gator Bowl and to the Outback Bowl. They can't get to the Citrus Bowl, but they can get to the Outback Bowl. But to do that, they have to beat Michigan to get there. It's going to take 9 wins to get in the Outback Bowl. I'm virtually certain of that. But more importantly to me, I still think Indiana needs to beat somebody. They haven't beaten anybody.
This would be the best win of the year. I mean, let's put it that way. They've got an opportunity this week. But, I mean, this would be – you look at their season, yes, we all think it's a successful season. We all think they play great and definitely have improved on both sides of the ball, all around. Coaching, every aspect has improved. But looking at it right now, I mean, this would be their best win. Possibly even if whatever bowl they go to, whoever they play in that, at the end of the year, this Michigan win, should they get it this weekend, would still probably be the best win they had all season long.
I agree. Hey, man, we got a gigantic show coming up next. We've got the coach, Jerry DiNardo. He's going to join us, former IU football coach, for a current BTN studio analyst. He's up next here. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, coming to you from the Graduate Hotel in Bloomington. Back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily, Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
All right, all you Hoosiers out there, make sure you listen to my main man when it's time to talk about Indiana sports. Jim Coyle. All right.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Coyle and Larry joining us here from the Graduate Hotel. What a great day, and we're very honored and fortunate to have with us Coach Jerry DiNardo from the BTN Network, former IU football coach. Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you joining us. Been a great season of football so far. How about the Indiana Hoosiers, man? What a great season Tom Allen has put together for them, and a little surprising to a lot of people. I thought this offense was going to be a pretty good one, but the fact that they've been able to do this with two quarterbacks on top of that, a spectacular season for them so far.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer has really changed just the way they're playing. There's three coaches, I think, that are up for Coach of the Year in the Big Ten. One's Ryan Day, and the Ohio State coach never wins Coach of the Year because he's not allowed to lose a game. The other two that have done great work is Tom Allen and P.J. Fleck. And I think those two guys are pretty comparable. I wish they were playing each other. I think it'd be a great matchup. I'm not sure which team is better. I know Minnesota's ranked nationally and so on, but a lot of that was because they were undefeated for a long time. And Indiana had lost to, I want to say it was Michigan and Penn State, two tough teams that Minnesota didn't have to play. And the other thing is they're a balanced team offensively and defensively, and that's really hard to do, or has been hard to do at Indiana, and Tom's found a way to do it.
Yeah, he's done a good job of recruiting. The Florida Pirates is not a Florida contacts, obviously, but built this team on a lot of Florida players he's been able to pull in and sell them on doing what he's doing. And the fact that they've been able to do that is got to be gigantic as far as future recruiting goes for Coach Allen.
Well, I think it's the consistency. I always consider this like 9 years of the Kevin Wilson, Tom Allen program. I mean, we all know Tom was the defensive coordinator for Kevin Wilson, and that's what I've always felt Indiana needed. They needed a good 7 to 10 years of consistently getting better. Sure, you're going to tick down, and they have. They went to a couple bowls and they didn't go, but they were just ticking down a little bit, and now they're ticking up. Maybe more than a little bit, but this has been a consistent climb. I think it's a lesson to all athletic directors that when you're building a program like Indiana, you need a long-term plan, and it's just worked out where Kevin has set it up, and now Tom has taken it to the next level.
Yeah, they've definitely got it rolling on. You guys seem to have a lot of fun up there on that set. I enjoy watching you guys on the big show, the other shows that BTN puts on, but you guys seem to have a great chemistry together with everyone that's on that set.
Well, Dave Repson and I were together at ESPN, so that was 2 years before the Big Ten Network, so we're going on 15 years. And Howard, is just a fabulous person. He's one of the few players. Kirk Herbstreit's another one. Former players that have really studied the game, and they studied it as players, and now they're studying it as analysts. So I think the basis of our chemistry is we love the game, and we have a great knowledge, or we feel like we have a great knowledge with the game, and there's no doubt we're together a lot more off the set than we are on the set, and that wouldn't be true if we didn't get along and have great chemistry.
I love to see you guys and Coach Juan standing there. So just the characters on that set are funny in itself. And, of course, Wanstadt's got another connection to IU as well. His daughters went to school here, I believe. We call him the Wanstache in loving kindness. But, yeah, he's another great character on that set.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He works in every coach that he knows, every coach that his agent represents, and he always works in IU. And so it's pretty predictable that we're going to get a Jimmy Johnson, an IU, and the PJ Fleck, and everyone else that he's connected to reference. In fact, Rick Pizzo, when he hosts the show, he usually gives us a running count of, okay, there's 2 references to IU, there's 2 references to Jimmy Johnson, and so on. So it's certainly entertaining for us. So I'm glad it's entertaining for everybody else.
He's going to have to start setting an over and under.
Right. We've discussed that.
I want in on that. I want a piece of the action.
It's actually a drinking game for most people.
That's good. Coach, that's Todd Leary joining us as well. Indiana this week, they move up in competition. Well, not so much from last week playing Penn State, but Michigan is the last big opportunity for Indiana. The one thing that they haven't done this year is win a signature type game. I know they won on the road at Nebraska, almost won at East Lansing, but should have. But Michigan is a team that the last 2 times they've been in Bloomington, those games have gone to overtime. So Indiana's been giving these guys the games, but they need to get over that hump. Do they need that to really secure this season being special, or have they already done that with this record?
Well, I believe they've already done it. They're bowl eligible. Their goal is to win the bowl, so that goal's still in front of them. The fact that it's been overtime twice in Bloomington the last 2 times, that works both ways. It works well for Indiana because the players are confident. They obviously can play with this team. Overtime was needed to beat us. And it also works in Michigan's favor where, team that's ranked, traditionally, if you look at the history of the series, it's been one-sided. So Jim Harbaugh can say to his team, hey, if you guys think we're just going to show up and win, we're going to lose this game because Indiana is better than they've been, and they're better than they were when they brought us to overtime. And so it's a motivational thing on both sides. I'll be shocked if it's not another close game.
think I lost you there for a second. But so with the way the season has gone, Michigan's playing much, much better, especially offensively. This is going to be the stiffest test for this Indiana defense. They've actually played pretty well as the season's progressed, but they're going to run into some very, very difficult challenges with this Michigan offense.
Yeah, there's no doubt, but, the defense has played well. And the other thing is, going against Kalen DeBoer's offense, really gets them ready when you think about spring practice, when you think about camp. There's a lot of things that the defense has done to defend their own team when they're working against each other in the spring and the fall in camp. And so that'll help them with play recognition. But again, this is the most balanced IU team when you look at offense and defense production. And so, they can slow it down on offense if they want and give Michigan less possessions. They can be aggressive. It'll be interesting to see how the game plan unfolds. Hello?
I think we lost our connection there. I'm having trouble hearing everybody, but it was Coach Jerry DiNardo. We're so grateful to have you joining us. We appreciate you so much, man. Look forward to doing this maybe once more as the season progresses. Indiana makes it to a bowl game, but good luck for you the rest of the year as you got your duties heading on to the BTN. We thank you so much, sir. That was Coach Jerry DiNardo joining us. We appreciate having him on the program. I had a little trouble there at the end. Couldn't hear. Lost the signal. Going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more from Coyle Larry right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Larry coming to you from the Graduate Hotel today in Bloomington as we get ready for some action tonight between Indiana and Princeton on the hardwood out at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. That game's going to tip at 7. Then, of course, you know what happens after the game with Todd Leary. That'll be taking place. As always, we'll be coming to you from Yogi's tonight. Looking forward to that. Indiana looking for their 5th win on this season. Wondering if we're going to see a lineup that is going to be more conducive to what we're going to be seeing the rest of the year. Of course, everyone else is waiting for that decision of Dawson Garcia. Nothing I've heard is pointing in Indiana's direction on that, though. Everything that people I've talked to and what I've heard is he's going to be Marquette bound. I don't know that Marquette's going to be that good of a team. I think it's more to do with who he's playing for. He wants to play for Woj, Marquette's coach, and he'll also have basically the team to himself, which if that's his reasoning, I think that's a little selfish, to be honest with you, because he one-man band is not going to win much. From a team standpoint, I think he would definitely be better off at Indiana, but he's got to make his own decision that makes the best sense for him and works for him the best. So we'll see how that goes. But that decision coming later on today. Also on the program yet today, Matt Weaver from Pigs.com is going to join us. We'll talk a little bit more football. We had Coach Jerry DiNardo on just with us. We appreciate him joining us. Great opportunity, and we're honored to have him on. For him to take the time to be on with us. Lost him there at the end, a little connection problem, but that's par for the course for live remotes. Todd Leary is with me, is here as well, but he stepped out he's over there talking to someone, having a good conversation. We'll get him back on here in a second as well. But we got a lot to get to today, man. It's a lot going on. Indiana soccer draws the number 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. They will host at Bill Armstrong Stadium on Sunday. I believe that match will start at 1. They play the winner of the Kentucky. I forget who they're playing, but we're expecting that to be Kentucky to win that game. But anyway, we'll find out. Tonight, Indiana taking on Princeton in a game that's going to be pretty front court loaded, Todd. I mean, their only offense, for the most part, is coming out of the post with their big man. And he's going to put a little stress on Indiana. But I think that Indiana just got too much firepower for one guy. Trace Jackson Davis has been playing so well. You got Joey Brunk, Justin Smith, and even Race Thompson, who has really been playing well in a backup role. We talked about him yesterday exclusively with his numbers, what he's doing in that time that he's on the floor. You made the reference of being those guys that get on the floor and they're just uber productive in those minutes that they're on the floor. jacks your stats up for one thing, but you do that, you're going to be on
You're
the floor.
You're going to get the minutes, right?
Yeah, you're going to play.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
That's the funny part is the more his minutes increase, the farther down his efficiency ratings and all those other things will go because, unless he continues to if he plays 26 minutes and we just double his stats, obviously that'd be awesome. But he'll be leading probably not just the team, he'll be leading the Big Ten in the country in most of those categories if he's able to do that.
He's taking a page out of John Laskowski's book, man, the super sub coming off the bench. But, he has – and plus it's been we didn't know what to expect from him last year. We didn't see much, lost all that time to that horrific head injury that he suffered in practice, the concussion that just took him away for months. But, man, he has really rebounded, and he seems like he's having fun out there, which is a big, big thing. But to win these games as we get closer into the competition ramping up, when Florida State and UConn and those guys that are Notre Dame coming up, they're going to have to play as a team. We've yet to see the lineup that we're probably going to be seeing, which will be Devontae Green, Rob Finney, Al Durham. Who's going to be the other two guys? But obviously Justin Smith. Who's that fifth guy? Trace Jackson Davis?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think Trace Jackson Davis and Justin Smith will start the majority of the games. I think Finney will start the majority of the games. I think Al Durham will start the majority of the games. I think that other position will be whether they swing between a smaller guy and a bigger guy. And I think Race Thompson is making a serious push right now for. They're not going to lose anything if they need to put him in the lineup to match up with a bigger team. And then obviously I think Armand Franklin has proven for sure that he's more than capable and going to do a great job while he's in there. And he won't just be in there to sub out for Rob Finney. He'll be in there playing along with Rob Finney, I think, a lot. And we've said all that, and I haven't even hardly mentioned Devontae Green. So, right now I probably wouldn't even start Devontae Green, to be honest with you, based on that lineup. And, that's difficult as a senior. Will he accept the role of coming in and being – the Vinnie Johnson microwave coming in to score some points right off the bat. And
I couldn't think of his last name yesterday, man. Vinny the Microwave. I knew it was Vinny the Microwave, Johnson, but I could not think of his last name.
Freaking hated that team. Man, I could not stand them with him coming in there. But, I just looked real quick at, the lineup for Princeton. We've talked so much about this team right now being one-dimensional. I guess I should have done my preparation a little earlier, but they've got two guys that average 17 points a game and one guy that averages 14 points a game. So, I know Coach Miller talked a lot about just their inside guy being the one they've got to worry about, but there's three guys that are averaging, over 14 points a game on this team coming in. They only average 66 as a total team. And you got 50 out of those three guys right there. So that makes it a little bit easier to kind of shut a team down, but we'll see. We'll see what they look like tonight.
Indiana taking on Princeton tonight. This is not the Princeton of the Pete Career days. So
there was no one that averaged 17 on one of those teams. I know that.
7 was their high score.
No kidding.
Especially with Indiana really pushing the tempo here in this early part of the season. That last game, man, that was as fast as I think I've seen them play under Archie Miller anytime ever in any game. I was down on the floors. And just that speed, man, They were really getting that ball up the floor.
Yeah, and it's under control speed, and it's lightning speed up and down the court. They're playing just as fast as they did in the Tom Crean era. They're getting up and down the court just as fast. They're just not out of control like they were then, and that's been the biggest. That's kind of the biggest difference in the Archie Miller philosophy and era is this team wants them to go as fast as possible as long as they're under control and their turnovers have been way down. So obviously they're doing a good job of staying under control. And, this has been a good team. It's been, I know Indiana fans, I'm the biggest one of all that would love for them to have played, one big formidable opponent right now, somebody that was a great win for them at this point. But truly in all reality, we'll get plenty of that in the month of December. And right now for this team, this is probably what they need is to have some big blowout wins. I know I'm going to get long-winded here, but Coach Miller talked before the season. We heard him talk in Evansville, and he did it several times in press conferences talking about this team needs to be humble. And right now, when you've won 4 games really big, and you're going to win another one tonight, probably really big, that's when you need to stamp that the humble all over it right now. I mean, they can't get too high on themselves right now because they're blowing people out. They've just got to focus on the good things that they're doing right now.
Yeah, and they don't have that chemistry yet because you talk about Devontae.
Right.
He played last game for the first time, but did not have a very good game. He went 1 for 5, shooting one there, just a little rusty. It's just like Rob Finney. He hasn't been starting Rob Finney, trying to get him back into that fold, and they need to do the same with Devontae. But at some point quickly, they've got to get all those guys on the floor and start gelling together as a team to see how they're going to play as a team.
Yep, no doubt.
We got a lot more coming up on the program today. We're coming to you live. This is Coyle and Leary, Indiana Sports Beat from the Graduate Hotel here in Bloomington. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to hear from Matt Weaver from Pigs.com. We're talking some IU football as the Hoosiers take on the Michigan Wolverines this weekend, Saturday, 3:30. That game's on ESPN. Middle of the afternoon, you get some tailgating in. It's going to be about 42 degrees, perfect fall football weather. It sounds like perfect upset weather to me.
Well, hey, everything is pointing in the right direction for that, and I think if they could pull it off, I think the Indiana team would look at it and say it wasn't an upset. We expected to win, but right now I know we're all looking at it like this would be a great win for the Hoosiers and probably an upset.
Hey, we got more coming up here on the program. Stay tuned. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, coming to you from the Graduate Hotel. We're back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tea time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former IU basketball player Derek Elson. Follow the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Coyle O'Leary coming to you today from the Graduate Hotel in Bloomington, ahead of Indiana's game tonight with Princeton Tigers. That tips off at 7 o'clock at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Of course, immediately after the game with Todd Leary follows. Don't miss that. Wrap up analysis of what happened.
Highlight of your day.
Highlight of everyone's
day.
Todd Leary with me here as always.
Can you describe how comfortable I look in the Graduate Hotel right now? I got my feet kicked up on the couch.
Upon one of the lounging couches here at the Graduate.
This place is
so nice. Being fanned, coffee brought to him.
All I gotta do is snap my fingers, and bring me something to drink or eat. It's pretty awesome.
The autograph line is out the door.
Oh yeah, don't talk about that.
We don't
want it
away.
to get longer. We don't want more people to show up.
We need a red carpet.
That's a good idea.
No, a red velvet rope thing.
Roped off. That's right.
You need a red velvet rope deal.
We need to fight these people off.
Jake, we need you up here to run security, please. Can you get some security here, please?
Yeah. The cops were just here. They just left.
Yeah,
I saw.
They saw you here.
I always know when they're here.
Yeah. But today, Indiana taking on Princeton tonight. Of course, Indiana soccer. I talked about them. They drew the number 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. They will be hosting a game match on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. 1 o'clock. Most likely, or you can't say most likely, very possibly against Kentucky. Kentucky playing a play-in game. They're pretty good. They've been a pretty good squad, I guess. Obviously not as good this year if they're in a play-in game. But Indiana tied Kentucky earlier this season at Jerry Yeagley Field. They've in that series, Indiana has won 25 times. Kentucky 2. Most recently last year when they won 3-0.
It's pretty dominant.
What's that?
That's pretty dominant.
Pretty dominant. Absolutely.
Yeah, they play Loyola Chicago tomorrow at home.
Text into the show from Tim. I see us playing all 11 guys to keep the speed up and giving players rest to wear other teams down. Well, I see him playing not that many. I see him playing them 8, maybe 9. We talked about this yesterday. Demetrius Anderson, his shooting has been a little bit better of late, which will get him some time if that continues. But if it doesn't, not so much. And Jerome Hunter still trying to get to that point to where he can be a game, every game contributor. He's getting there. It's just going to take him time too. But that's another thing, though, as the season goes on, Todd, coaches generally tend to find that rotation that they like if it's working, and they kind of stick with that.
Yeah, no, we talked about that yesterday a little bit, and I think you're exactly right. But to Tim's point, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think they might be 11 guys that you see with minutes at the end of a game on stat sheet. I think that might be the case. But I think that you're not going to see the sharing of minutes like there is right now. You're not going to see that many guys with 11, with 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 18 minutes in a game. Those 9, 10, 11 guys are not going to be playing that many minutes. They're going to be playing more like 4 to 10 minutes. And I think you'll see the starting 5 along with maybe, number 6 and 7. I think you'll see all their minutes in the 20s. I think there'll be very few guys that play over 30, 32 minutes at the most for this team. And I don't think you'll see – I think you'll see most of those top 7 or 8 rotation in the 20 to 30 range.
Rob's texting into the show, wants to know, Roger from Evansville asking if Rob will play tonight, Rob Fennessy. All indications are I think that he will. He was sick last time. I think he's probably past that. And so he's one of those guys that we are going to see in that rotation and maybe in a starting role for once, getting in there. We may have him, may have Devontae Green, may have the starting lineup tonight that you're likely going to see. I don't know that yet, but it's very, very possible, Todd.
Yeah, it is. And he had strep throat. So that's one of those. We don't know if he was on, day one of it at that last ball game last Saturday, or if, maybe he was a couple days into it and he'll be feeling better by today. But, that's that's a who knows situation until game time. They're probably not going to need him to win. So if he's not, more than 80% healthy from the sickness standpoint, then I doubt he plays, and he's not going to be needed. But yes, I mean, I know the coaching staff is looking forward to be able to putting all those guys out on the court. They've got 2 more games after this one before the Florida State game, as also kind of tune-up games. I mean, Louisiana Tech and South Dakota State are both, they should win both of those games. So this is the last 3 ball games before, a stretch of 3 really good ones. I mean, after that you go Florida State, Wisconsin, and Connecticut, and Nebraska, 4 really good ones all in a row. So you got 2 Big Ten games and 2 nationally, national good opponents. So everyone complaining about the schedule, don't worry, because come that first week of December, it's all going to ramp up.
And once that train starts coming, it doesn't slow down, because the Big Ten is down this year, but they're still solid. I mean, you still got a lot of teams. You've got Michigan State, you got Maryland, you've got Ohio State, but you've got Penn State, you've got Purdue. You've got a lot of teams that are going to be trouble or give you a battle. Now, Nebraska, they've kind of been hit on the chin earlier this year. It's not been a good start for your buddy Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah, no, they have really struggled. I think I saw they had 14 of the 15 guys on their team are all brand new to the program. So they obviously had mass exodus once they changed coaches. And yeah, I mean, look, let me tell you, Freddie,
guys still got to wear name tags on their jersey.
For sure. Probably. I mean, no doubt. And they sure don't know each other, and they don't know how to play together. And so that, their difficulties are just who knows what. But Freddie is a great players coach. I mean, he's a guy they're all going to want to play for. It will not be long before they're back to where they need to be. But, like I said, the schedule really changes for Indiana here coming up pretty quickly. Indiana go from one of the easiest schedules in the country. I think right now they've got like one of the top 20 easy schedules in the country to they'll be in the top 30 toughest schedules, once you get into the middle part of December.
Well, just like in football, where the Big Ten Conference is the only conference that mandates a 9-game conference schedule, where everyone else gets to play 8, which in this day and age, with only needing 6 games to get to a bowl game, you got 2/3 of your bowl eligibility is built into your schedule with 4 wins for most conferences, not the Big Ten. In basketball, they've got the 20-game schedule now. That's a very difficult thing. I mean, think back when you played, what was it, 18 games then?
Yep.
And it's only 2 more games, but those extra 2 conference games, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It for sure does. And it makes a difference because, when you talk about adding 2 extra games, I mean, in the scenario like it was back when we played, I mean, those 2 extra games would have been for sure wins. And right now, everyone's complaining because Indiana's schedule has been so easy, but they kind of have to do that. You almost have to build in those games because you're not going to be able to, starting 2 weeks from now, you're not going to be able to build those back in. I mean, have you looked at the schedule and what it is starting December 3rd? I mean, it goes crazy. I mean, Florida State, Wisconsin, Connecticut, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Arkansas, Maryland. I mean, that's your next game. The last real easy game that they have is a week from Saturday. So from that point on, it's basically conference season from then on.
And at this time of year, these games aren't really easy because, to me, half of the game is against the opponent. The other half is against yourself.
Yeah, no
trying
doubt.
to get to where you're trying to get to learn what's being implemented. You got new guys playing new roles, and they've only played 4 games, so it's a challenge to get there quickly.
Let me tell you, I've watched, from my own perspective, wanting to analyze it. I've watched every game Indiana's played so far, all 4 of them, possession by possession, all the way through several times already, and they are so much better after game 4 than they were after game 1. But I can tell you, last night I was sitting in the study there watching the game, pounding on the table because I was still mad about some of the missed rotations and just how slow they were at some different things. And I mean, I could still flip the table over last night. They've got a long way to go. Defensively, they are dramatically better than they were 2 weeks ago, but they've still got a long way to go. They're missing some rotations that are pretty easy ones.
Well, they get an opportunity tonight as they take on the Princeton Tigers to work out some of those extra demons. Let's see, that'd be the 5th game. They've got one more before Florida State?
Two more games. Louisiana Tech and South Dakota State.
And again, we've not seen the starting lineup that we're probably going to see, and that does matter from a chemistry standpoint. We saw Devontae Green in the last game, but that was also the fastest I've seen them play. I don't know if it was because Devontae was in there or if it's just a natural progression of the season getting there.
Yeah, I think they're just more comfortable. I think and they were playing a team that was kind of a little up-tempo a little bit, and they were trying to push it. And, yes, I think they were intentionally trying to play faster. But, I don't know that we'll see that in every game. The Big Ten is going to slow down dramatically. Like Indiana's averaging over 90 points a game, and in the Big Ten, it's probably going to be closer to 70. So it's going to have a dramatic slowdown once the Big Ten starts.
Is that tempo when you're going that fast or trying to go that fast? Is that a product of not being as good a shooting team?
I don't know if you categorize it like that. It's a product of trying to give yourself the easiest shot possible. And I know this is the one thing I love. I'm becoming Bill Walton and relating everything back to when I played, but that's all I know and all I learned. But Coach Knight's emphasis from day one of the first day I ever got here was getting to the free throw line. And you put your team in such an advantage if you get fouls on the other team, and free throws are the easiest shots to make, the easiest way to put points on the board. There's a million reasons why, but this team, I think, has a serious focus in doing that. And this is the first time I can say that in the last 15 or 20 years for an Indiana
Archie said
team.
that. He came out and said this team has to get to the free throw line.
Right. And they're good free throw shooters for the most part. So, that's going to be a focus for them, and it's been really great for them up to this point. It's been a big reason, why they've pulled away in a lot of these games, because they've gone to the free throw line and they've capitalized at the free throw line.
Well, the last couple of years, they haven't been a good free throw shooting team. This year, they've done a lot better. We saw Trace Jackson Davis have one of those great nights, 14 and 15. Then he comes back 5 and 9. He's got to find consistency because he's going to get to the line a lot, as active as he's been and as well as he's played. I mean, he's already has 2 double-doubles, so he's going to be drawing a lot of fouls. He's got to be consistent at that. Well, they all do, but he's going to be getting there a lot, so he's got to be consistent at that stroke.
Yeah, and he does, and he's shown it for the most part. He started out the year, I think, missing 2 of his first 3, and I thought, oh boy, but he has a good looking stroke and he's got good touch, and if you can make 14 of 15, you're pretty legit. Like you can at least shoot free throws and you've got a good touch. So that's really what it comes down to. There's not anyone that's terrible on their team from the free throw. I mean, Duran's not great, but outside of that, there's no one that's terrible from the free throw line.
Got a text in the show from Tom asking, Todd, how do you feel about being part of that 89 recruiting class, one of the best recruiting classes ever, and do you stay in contact with the other 6 guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I feel insanely fortunate for that. I mean, I was the last signee of those 7, so I wasn't a part of it all the way until the end, and my recruiting, like I've told the story a million times, I mean, my recruiting took place in about 3 seconds on a phone call. Coach Knight offering it to me saying yes. I mean, it could have gone that fast if he'd wanted it to. So, I felt great about that class. Those guys were all fun. We knew each other. We'd all played AAU together. We knew each other. It was just a blast. They're all good people. They were all fun. Even Funderburk. Funderburk was a blast. I mean, people give him a hard time for being a weirdo, and he is a weirdo, but I'm a weirdo too. So it's just kind of what it is. He's a fun person, and he was fun to be around.
Any idea what he's doing these days?
I don't know what he's doing right now.
I haven't. You don't hear. I don't hear much from him.
I know I saw him. This has been several years ago, and he was writing a book. The guy was insane.
We need to get him on.
He was genius level smart. Like he
really?
he was super smart, like crazy smart.
He caught a lot of flack.
He did. Oh, there's no doubt. Anytime you transfer from Indiana, you catch flack, and anytime you can't take Coach Knight and it's not the right thing for you, you take flack for it, and you're viewed as just I don't know what you're viewed at, but you just take heat for it, and he was a good kid. He had a tough upbringing, and he overcame a lot of things, and we all wanted the best for him. It's kind of unfortunate how he left. He literally left practice one day, and we never saw him again. From an Indiana standpoint, I mean,
really?
We played against him at Ohio State, but we never really talked to him. He didn't let anybody know he was leaving. He left practice, packed his stuff up, and was gone. But the second part of that question, yeah, we see guys. events like this weekend, that's why we talked about how much fun some of that stuff was. I talk to guys more at games and events like that. Occasionally Archie's done a good job putting things together in the summertime where guys get to come back, but that's hit or miss on whether that weekend works for you family-wise and that stuff. So, we text more. Jamal Meeks has been really instrumental and, kind of being the lead in getting a lot of guys to make contact and stay in contact with each other. Brian Evans, when Eric Anderson died, Brian Evans was the guy who, kind of got us all together to put a little video together for him. And so there's some guys making an effort to do it. And hopefully we can get to the point where we all stay in contact more. But, I've said it off the air a million times. I mean, our former player networking group is pretty dysfunctional, and we have not done a great job overall. Everybody keeping in contact.
Well, we're going to put you in charge of that.
Yep. I'm in charge of so many things.
Indiana Sports Beat, we'll make that central right here on Indiana Sports Beat. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Larry. We're coming to you live from the Graduate Hotel here on this Wednesday,
November 20th. I got you.
Hey, coming up next, our good buddy Matt Weaver from Pigs.com. We're going to get a little update on what's going on in football recruiting and everything going on with IU as they head in to take on Michigan this Saturday at Memorial Stadium. Stay tuned. We're back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
All right, all you Hoosiers out there, make sure you listen to my main man when it's time to talk about Indiana sports. Jim Coyle. All right.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming to you today from the Graduate Hotel in Bloomington, joined now by our good buddy Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. Matthew, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Man, a tough loss for the Hoosiers last week. We pretty much put that behind us. But, dude, I went over that game, Matt, and Indiana could have won that game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, tough loss, really disappointing. I mean, it was, it kind of reminded me of last year where, Indiana really kind of, kind of outplayed them, but because of some mistakes on, special teams and, a couple obviously big mistakes on special teams, and then the fumble by WAP that probably is probably not even strong enough for it. Should have been a targeting call and a penalty on Penn State. Those three plays, those three kind of big plays, were kind of the difference in the game, and cost Indiana a chance of getting a big win.
Yeah, I asked Coach Allen about that the other day in the press conference, and there's only so much he can say about this targeting deal, not call, and it's aggravating when it is as clear can be, not just one, but there was 2 targeting penalties on that play. Not that you should call both, but he was hit from both sides simultaneously with both helmet-to-helmet contact, and how in the hell they cannot call that with the advent of instant replay, it boggles my mind.
Yeah, and there's been obviously a lot of disdain towards the on-field officials, and probably deservedly so. But to me, the bigger issue is the guys in the replay booth who didn't signal down, hey, we need to take a look at this. You need to stop the game so we can review this, because that's their job. I mean, obviously the replay official's job is when a coach wants something replayed for, whatever it may be, a guy in bounce or not, or something like that, or the officials need something replayed on the touchdown. But their job is to watch every play and look for something like this. To me, I don't know how. I mean, they reviewed it for the fumble after Coach Allen called the timeout, but there was nothing about a review about targeting, and they announced that. I honestly don't know how you don't review that for targeting, and then, like you said, how you don't come to the conclusion that there was a targeting. I mean, it was crown of the helmet, it was lowered helmets, it was hitting a receiver. I mean, a guy in the head. I just don't know. I don't know how it's not called. And, I don't know how they work reprimands and if guys get in trouble, but the only way officiating is going to get better, across the board is if guys start, you start taking them away, suspending them for a week. I mean, the replay officials, in my opinion, should not work this week. They should not be allowed to work until they can figure out how to do their job properly. I mean, this isn't rocket science. They're not asking them to split the atom. It's watching a video screen and determining the targeting. I mean, if they're not sharp enough to do this, they maybe should be doing something else.
And to make matters worse, the very reason this rule was put into effect, the very reason they have instant replay to look at this was to protect the players. And this took Whop Philyor out of that game and most likely out of this week against Michigan.
Yeah, and it's disappointing, and obviously if they would have penalized him, it doesn't change WAP's status. But the bottom line is, it's like a double whammy. I mean, not only do you lose, arguably, it's their, WAP is their best offensive player as far as their skill players go, and at least the most dangerous. But there was no, nothing. And then, when the play happened, it was obviously. The guy would have it was kind of like he would have been lost for the rest of the game, but, wouldn't have impacted Penn State past the Indiana game. But still, the bottom line is their guys got to stay on the field, and Indiana lost a really big part of their offense. And not only that, they, as bad as it was to lose WAP, if they call that penalty, Indiana keeps the ball in that play. And, I think Penn State scored 2 plays later or something, 1 or 2 plays right after that turnover. And that was a big turning point.
Absolutely. This week, Indiana gets another opportunity. With the great season that Indiana's had, the one thing they haven't done is really get that signature win. I know winning at Nebraska was pretty cool, but still Nebraska's not having that great season. I think they need to beat one of these Big Fours to really solidify this being a special season.
Yeah, it would be a big deal. I mean, it's obviously the success has really put them kind of on the open some eyes nationally. You hear Indiana getting mentioned in games that aren't even Big Ten games when people are talking about college football and that's cool for the program. But a game like this, against obviously a traditional powerhouse, and I know Michigan's probably not they're not having the season that they expected or wanted. But, they're playing really well right now. They were really struggling in the first half of the season. And, whatever they figured out, it seems to be working. Especially, I mean, the defense has been playing pretty good all year. But the offense was really kind of the issue. And lately it seemed like they've found the magic formula, whatever that is, to get that side of the ball turned around. So it's going to be a tough game. This is kind of the classic trap game for Michigan. I mean, I'm sure people see the video of Shea Patterson after the Michigan State game, basically saying, kind of overlooking Indiana and talking about how they got one big game left. So, if they come in with that mindset, no matter what mindset they come in, I think Indiana's got a shot to play well and to beat them. But if they're overlooking Indiana, they might be in for a big surprise.
Man, I've got Todd Leary with us, of course. Todd, you played. Being on a team that's being talked about, that's trying to elevate, when you're starting to get that attention nationally, what does that do for the team itself?
It gives you a confidence level. It changes, your perspective. At some point, they're trying to turn a whole program around. They're not just trying to win games. And, I know that coaching staff is working really hard to build a culture. And when you start to get recognition and when you're watching LSU and Alabama play and you hear them talking about your offense and you hear them talking about some of the things that you've accomplished and, it makes you feel good. It gives you a different confidence level. It makes you walk around a little tougher and a little stronger, and you go into next games kind of expecting to win. And that's really what they've been trying to accomplish, is come in there and change the whole culture of everything. And winning a game like this would solidify a lot of what they've done. And it would definitely be the biggest win they have this year. And, this is one of those games that if they win this game, obviously they're going to be talked about a lot more nationally than what they've even had so far.
Yeah, and Matt, we've had the quarterback issues all year with Michael Penix getting hurt and coming in, and now we know Peyton Ramsey is the guy going forward, no doubt. And really, it hasn't been any drop-off at all, to be honest with you. His consistency, his experience has made up for any deficiencies he may have had in his throwing game because, man, they haven't missed a beat under Kalen DeBoer.
No, and obviously give Peyton a ton of credit. He's played terrific football, his best football of his career, and yeah, there's certain things, certain throws that are more difficult to certain pass plays more difficult to run with Peyton Ramsey. But Kalen DeBoer deserves a lot of credit for putting together a game plan that fits. He's coaches sit here all the time. You try to put your guys in a position to succeed and try to try to cover up whatever their weaknesses may be as much as you can. And I think Kalen DeBoer is a master of doing that with his guys. And it's not always going to work. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes, but he's figured out what Peyton Ramsey does well and what he doesn't do as well. And he tries to really kind of play to those strengths. And obviously he has, the season that Peyton Ramsey has, especially when he's kind of been yo-yoed back and forth in and out of the lineup with Michael Penix battling injuries. It's just been, what a credit to the kid for keeping his head in there and not really, sulking or moping and all that. And being there for his teammates, working hard and then playing great when he's gotten the opportunity. And, I don't think that's going to change over the last 2 weeks. I think he's going to continue to play well and put up big numbers.
We've talked about recruiting, and of course, this program is being turned around because of the recruiting under Tom Allen, what he's been able to get done. This season is going to make that look like Tom Allen on a crack when they're getting done, I would imagine. Well, have you seen the uptick? Because nobody is closer to Indiana football recruiting than you are. What have you seen in that regard with all that's going on?
Well, just talking to some guys, they've got, in December, they're going to have, a couple, guys that normally, that they would struggle to maybe get on campus, a couple 4-star guys, a 4-star DB, Jaden Francois out of South Florida, and then Jason Harris out of Arizona. And they've obviously gotten some 4-star guys over the last few years, but it's typically been, like the in-state guys or, guys that are closer by. And they've gotten in on these guys and kind of midstream. And the season, I talked to Jason Harris the other night. He told me that the season Indiana's had has really opened his eyes to the program, and he thinks it's a program that's on the way up and is going to continue to stay that way with Tom Allen and this staff, leading it. So it's definitely made an impression. I think you'll see, while it could help in this class, the 2020 class, really these kind of seasons usually pay dividends a year or two down the road, just because by the time, obviously, you have a good season, guys are kind of already so far along in their recruitment, it's kind of hard to change course. But there could be some guys, especially if there's coaching changes, and there already have been, and there could be more guys, get free because of their coach leaves or whatever, and you may be able to get in on somebody. But it's definitely starting to pay dividends, and I think it's only going to keep going, the direction it's going with the way the team's been playing.
And, of course, getting a win over Michigan would do a lot more than just to give them bragging rights. The bowl situation will start to play itself out here in the last few weeks. Indiana's obviously going to a decent bowl. We saw yesterday in Nashville, the Music City Bowl, very interested in Indiana. But, of course, you've got the Gator Bowl and possibly the Outback Bowl. But I think to get to the Outback Bowl, I think they have to beat Michigan. I think they have to get 9 wins to get there personally, but we'll see. But either way, they should end up in a pretty decent bowl this year, not just a bowl.
Yeah, I think so too. And then, I know that there's that agreement with the Music City Bowl. Most people thought it was kind of, no chance it could happen, but it sounds like there's some wiggle room. And, I think for the Music City Bowl, if you could get an Indiana, Kentucky or Tennessee matchup, I think that would be pretty popular and have a lot of appeal. I think you'd have a good crowd and a heck of a good game. But going down to either Jacksonville or Tampa would also would be great, especially the Tampa area, because Indiana recruits obviously that area so hard with Coach Allen's ties to that part of Florida. And Jacksonville's another recruiting hotbed for him. But any of those three to me would be terrific bowl games for Indiana and really be awesome, I think, for the fans and definitely for the players and the coaches.
Absolutely. Matt, you got anything that you're working on that people need to know about?
Yeah, like I said, I talked to Jason Harris, and I actually just put a story up on a Texas DB who's going to be visiting that same weekend, December 6th. And I will have a story this week on Jason Harris and then some other guys who are going to be visiting here in the next week or two and also December. So people look for that. And obviously the coverage, pregame coverage for the Michigan game.
Absolutely. Our good friend Matt Weaver from Bigs.com. We thank you, brother, as always. Look forward to it, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, take care, man. Thanks.
You betcha. Matt Weaver from Bigs.com joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary. We got more coming back here from the Graduate Hotel. Stay tuned. We're back to finish out the show right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
All right, all you Hoosiers out there, make sure you listen to my main man when it's time to talk about Indiana sports. Jim Coyle. All right.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary. We're coming to you here on this Wednesday from the Graduate Hotel in Bloomington. Todd Leary, Jim Coyle sitting in with you as always. About to wrap up here on this Wednesday. Indiana taking on Princeton tonight. The women's team, we'll talk about them later in the week. 18th in the AP poll right now. Highest rating they've ever had in the history of that program.
Climbing quickly.
Quick in the history of that program. Well, let me tell you, they could be top 10 because of what they got coming up.
Because who they get to play.
Just because of who they got. Good gosh. I think South Carolina, number 6. Baylor's number 2. They got UCLA. They play Florida Friday. I can't even remember them all offhand, but that's just a spattering. Like 5 ranked teams coming up. It's a brutal. And that's before the freaking Big Ten conference play starts.
Yeah, I mean, they've got no one's going to complain about their schedule.
Dude, they
being tough,
play,
that's for sure.
If nothing else, they're going to have a really nice resume if they can get through some of those wins. You know, you don't expect them to win them all. If they can win a couple of those against a ranked team, that is going to go miles in helping them at the end of the season with their RPI or whatever it is they use now, whatever metric they use. But this is a team I can see ending up with a 4 or 5 seed if they can stay healthy. They've got a really good team. They are deep, man. I mean, they've got players that for one thing, you never know who's going to be the leading scorer of that team. You don't know if it's going to be Ali Patberg. You don't know if it's going to be Grace Berger. Could be Jalen Penn. Could be the freshman. I mean, it's coming from all over, and they're 8, 9 deep of guys that are girls, women, whatever. Players that could start on that team. That's the great thing. I mean, you're not going to remove Ali Patberg. You're not going to remove Grace Berger. But they've just got so much talent, and that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, they do. And they're the fun part for them is they're going to find out real quick what they're good at and what they need to work on. I mean, in a 3-day stretch, they play what you said. They play South Carolina and Baylor back-to-back nights next weekend. And then they play Washington State after that. They play, those 3 games, all 3 days in a row. They play South Carolina next Thursday, Baylor next Friday, and Washington State next Saturday. So
crazy.
That'll be a test that not only are they really good teams and opponents, but it's 3 games in 3 days.
Tournament situation.
Yeah. It's just an awesome experience for them. And, that'll be a lot of fun, and they'll come out of that knowing, what they need to do and what they need to work on and what they're really good at.
The book sent me talked earlier.
Uh-huh.
He wrote a book called "Hook Me Up, Playa."
Do you have
Warns
to say it
both
like that?
professionals and
Do you have to-
athletes of the dark side of the limelight through interviews with close friends who are athletes.
Sweet.
Playa.
Do you have to say it like that when you say
Hey
it?
man, I just say it as it's hook me up,
I
playa.
just say it. Okay.
It's not hook me up, player. It's hook me up, playa. Which makes it that much better.
I wish we were on Facebook Live so they could see your signs that you're throwing up at the same time you do
Hook
it.
me up, playa,
You
yo.
are-
We have to write a Todd Leary book.
You're out of Greene County. You sure you're not from Greene County?
Well, if you wrote a book, what would it be called?
Ooh, shoot. Who knows? I've never even really thought about it, but put some good thought into that. Come up with some creativity.
Getting some laughs in the audience here, but man, it's been a fun day so far. I love getting out and doing these things,
Especially here. I mean, other than the weird cookie jars that I'm looking at over here on this display, other than that, I mean, this place is just as comfortable as can be, and everything is.
Well, the cookie jars
Hoosiers
remind
related.
you of home, man.
No, those are.
I think we lost him, so we're going to get him right back here real quick.